But now it is with great pleasure I get to introduce to you an NBA basketball executive, a former player and two-time champion with our Golden State Warriors. He's loved here and around the world. Please help us welcome Zaza Pachulia. Great to have you here, man.
Thank you,
please, you. And please have a seat. And I'm thankful we have chairs, actually. I don't have to look up the whole time. So it's great to have you here, Zaza. And first question I have for you, there's a lot of, how many Warriors fans do we have here today? They're tired Warriors fans. How many Warriors fans do we have here today? Excuse me. It's a little bit better. So,
I think they're kind of shy, though, because we're in a Niner stadium.
They're in a Niner stadium. No, because they're engineers, actually. But now, question. So I'm glad we're sitting down. Now, Zaza, how tall are you? Just.
Oh, wow. That's how we start, huh? Okay.
We're going to start there.
Yeah, let's start that way. Let's keep it that way, then. I'm 6'11", on the good days.
6'11" on the good days. So the question I have for what we're talking about here today, can AI help me get into the NBA?
Well, after...
Generative AI.
Yeah, after listening to Naveen, I think, yeah. If not today, it's tomorrow for sure. It's coming, but it's insane, the world we're living in right now. There's so many things changed in a good way, hopefully. But one of the things that actually sticks in my mind after you asked me this question, I don't know if you guys have seen this robot. I think Toyota built it, a robot that never misses a shot. I'm pretty jealous. Even Steph Curry is jealous of it. It's insane.
It's better than seven. And now, this is not the first time we met. Our sons actually play in the AAU basketball league,
so he's seen my bad side.
Not at all. No, he was there. He's a great father and a great NBA player, and that's right. He is, and so we're basketball fans. I played basketball. In the audience here today, we have a lot of cricket players. I'll wait.
You're
okay.
in trouble. You're in trouble.
So my son's 17, and how old were you when you first started in the NBA? And maybe talk about that journey and how it felt to be in it.
Yeah, everything happened pretty early in my life, in my career. Actually, I was 16 years old when I started playing professional basketball.
16.
Overseas in Europe, playing for one of the best European clubs in Turkey, in Istanbul, called Ülker. And I was 19 years old when I got drafted, so a journey of NBA started when I was 19. So it's pretty early.
How was your mindset as a teenager playing in literally on the world stage with everybody looking at you?
As a kid growing up, you always dream about it, right? And that dream is so real. I mean, right now you hear so many people talking about dream big, right? So without that, I just cannot imagine this journey to end up the way it did. 16 years and experiencing two championships for an amazing team with amazing teammates I had throughout my 16-year career. And that dream actually helps you to get up early every single day and do something unique, something you love. You go out there in the gym, spend hours and hours, even though it hurts, it's hard. Sometimes things doesn't go your way, but you stay with it. Sometimes people doubt you. Sometimes you lose.
Right.
Sometimes you're not playing, but still stay after the game in the gym and continue to getting shots up and continue to get better. And we're not talking about just one day. We're talking about all your life, basically, right? And the biggest thing is like a clock. What does clock do? It's after it starts at 12 and goes around. Goes back to 12, again, same thing over and over. So that's the kind of lifestyle,
right?
Of an athlete that plays in the highest level. And for some people, it's boring. But you know what? When they ask me after I decide to retire, how you feel about it. And my answer was like, I'm not sad it's over, I'm just glad it happened.
Right.
And if you take me back, I'm doing the same thing, even though I know I missed a lot. I missed a lot of things. I missed a lot of fun things. I missed events like this, maybe not necessarily talking about AI because it's new, relatively new, but there were other things actually were discussed and shared, right? You know, from amazing people, successful people,
right,
and from different industries. And I did miss that, but you know what? I was doing something I loved, and it was my life. And I believe the reason why I'm sitting next to you right now is because of the basketball. So I'm super grateful for that.
That's awesome. I love that. I love hearing that. And what you shared is really the effort behind Effortless, right? So we see you on the court, you know, setting a pick. You know, I see the moving pick, but the ref didn't see it, right? Which is good.
That's important, though. That's called art.
That's called art, exactly, right? And not Patrick Beverly, where it's very obvious. And you see the moving pick, but there's so much effort. Like how many shots you take a day. We see Steph Curry, and you've had a chance to play with all the greats on the team. We see Steph take a smooth shot, hit 98%, whatever. Tell everybody here, how much work have you seen Steph put in behind the scenes, the effort behind his, what appears to be effortless from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely looks like effortless. Even shot like last night. I don't know how many of you guys watched the game, even though it was preseason game. People talking about it was the best preseason game they ever seen, because typically, either the guys don't put as much effort, because it's preseason, it don't count. Or they don't play as many minutes, or they don't play to win. They're just trying to get in shape and get back in rhythm. But I think both teams, first of all, played to win, and both teams played their star players and the main guys, and they tried to win. And it ended up awesome game. And Steph's last shot actually the won us game, right? In the end, and it was so effortless, right? But the crazy thing, I know Steph. Now, obviously when he first came in the league, I played against him, but we became teammates, and the teammates turned to the relationship and friendship. So I've been knowing this guy for a lot, since 2017. So it's been 6 years, right? And it's amazing, what he has been through and what he's done to him and himself and his career, and not only himself, to the basketball, and of course it affects to our kids.
That's right.
Right, and. First of all, I got so inspired seeing this guy every single day, what he's doing. It's something, unfortunately, people and the fans all around the world not necessarily have that opportunity to see, but the amount of work he's putting in. And not only he's just working to maintain his spot, every single year, this guy's getting better and better and better. Just like wine, while older you get, wine better you get. So, and he's all about, adding 1%, the small things. Obviously, he already had an amazing career, let's be honest, right? What else he can have done, right? Championships, the MVP trophies, USA basketball with the Olympics, etc. He's done it all. He experienced it all. But he continues to get better. I don't know how many guys you notice, this guy is so much stronger already, because you know what? He's obviously 6'2", 6'3", and a lot of times, he's getting bullied down there, right? Let's be honest, because again, you're trying to find the cracks and trying to attack the Warriors, right? So, teams are trying to put Steph in an awkward situation where he has to guard like LeBron James, like taller, bigger, stronger guys.
Right.
That way, he wastes a lot of energy in the defensive end, but like Guy understood that where he could get better, right? So what the problem was, and he was in the gym for a whole summer, and then he came. I mean, it was so noticeable. Actually, when I saw him first time after coming back from Europe, I told him he looked like Baby Shaq. Like, so,
Baby Shaq.
And I respect it. As for someone like Steph Curry, who's done so many great things in his career personally, and for basketball fans all over the world. He continues to get better, and it's very inspiring to me, in my opinion.
I love that. Little by little, 1% improvement, lessons we can learn. What D-Raj talked about, uniting, pulling all the resources together. And one thing we talked about is the winning mindset, right? You have the mindset of a champion. For you, when there's disappointment and failure, how you get back up. Or I always think about, they always say, a shooter's got to shoot, right? Clay will shoot, he'll be missed. Steph will shoot, and in their minds, how have you just forget about it? Because all of us, I'll miss a shot. I'll be like, oh, darn it, I'm not going to make anything today. We all tend to sometimes play those tapes in our head. So how is a champion, a world stage champion, how have you overcome the if something doesn't go the way, you just forget about it and move on. How do you handle that? Because I think that's something we all deal with as we build teams.
Absolutely. First of all, I gotta say, like, there's so much similarities between, what athletes do on the, either football stadium or the basketball court. It doesn't matter, and between that you guys are doing and with the business or entrepreneurship. There's so many similarities. Sometimes I feel like the only difference is what you guys wear versus like the uniform that the guys in sneakers they wear. So it's like that. One thing I learned, because I've never been a shooter, I can't call myself a shooter even though I'm from Europe and Europeans love to shoot. But like after I got to know the Steph and Clay, the Splash Brothers, like I say, you know what, they're the real shooters. But one thing I learned from that, you gotta have a short memory, and it doesn't matter, what. You are 0 for 9. Actually, first it was Clay when he told me, he said, I don't give a, he said, I'm shooting 10th one. If I'm 0 for 9, the 10th one is going up. Like, that was such an amazing way to respond, right? So when things doesn't go right, because both guys actually told me the same thing. They say, no one else in this world is practicing, is working as hard as I do. So if I'm 0 for 9, 0 for 10, I'm shooting another one because I believe in myself, I have faith, and you know what? That's what I've been doing. That's what I'm getting paid for. So, combination between the confidence, combination between being mentally tough, nothing to bother, and also, of course, the confidence comes from the teammates as well, from coaches, because here's such a threat that we all seen. Steph's 62 points or Clay's 60-point game, right? I mean, that was not an accident. It happened for a reason, right? So also we all want them to continue to shoot because they make us better, and our job is to make them better and to put them in a situation that way they're the best versions of themselves.
I love it, and that's a great message, I think, for all of us here. And I think about, like, again, what D-Raj shared again about the United Club here today, the Warriors, and now you're the front office, which is wonderful, which we're excited you're still here in the Bay Area, and we could still high-five his dads in the stands at local games for our kids. But it's an organization of so many different pieces, and it's a great team that works together and mindset. So maybe you could share a bit about the things of the Warriors organization, as all of us are part of an organization, that make them as great as they are, and maybe some of the mentors you have in there, and how a combination of mentors and that each person on the team has a role, the kind of things that kind of make it fun for you and that bring the success you have, and why you maybe even chose to stay with the Warriors, right? Because you could have gone somewhere else.
Yeah, that's my favorite topic to talk about the Warriors, because there was a reason why I decided to be part of this organization, even though I played in Atlanta for 8 years, literally half of my career, so I was calling Atlanta home. And
so now it's funny. Now you're from Georgia, and when people now, you all know it was the country of Georgia. And how many times do people say, "Did you grow up near Atlanta?"
Oh gosh, if you give me the $100 each time I heard that message, like I would be the wealthiest guy in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, people still in 2023 is confused.
Your accent doesn't sound like you're from the South. That's right.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. But regarding. Sorry for the Southern people, but
that's why I'm from New York. It's good.
The one thing what makes Warriors organization is so unique and so noticeable, and is people. People, and starting with the ownership group with Joe Lacob and Peter Guber, and obviously all the leaders of the organization. With Rick Welts, who was our president and COO for 10 years, and now is Brandon Schneider. On the basketball side, we had Bob Myers, now Mike Dunleavy also, who's been with us. Steve Kerr, one of the best human beings, and of course, one and only Steph Curry. So you're talking about, this is amazing leadership right there. The guys who believe in values, who are on the same page, and who are all about the winning and doing the right things. So in talking about mentorship, I would like to share one of the cool stories that I had with that happened to me when I joined the Warriors. I was already a 13-year-old vet, in NBA. Right. So suddenly my social media following just grew tremendously, just skyrocketed, and then people start talking about me and social media, just media. Not that I was playing for a different league. I was still playing in NBA. And no disrespect to other teams, but like let's be honest, like Warriors, especially when KD joined the team, it was totally different, right? So, and by the way, we have the best team in the history of basketball, in my opinion, with Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, and me on the center.
Zaza.
And I'm saying like, there's no one can beat us unless we beat ourselves. No one. Right. And I mean this truly sincerely. Like, I just like looking at the, teams that year, I couldn't find one single team. And then I start going back, in early 2000s with the Spurs, right? And then I was trying to like, all the amazing teams with Chicago in 90s and Lakers and Celtics. But I'm going in past, right? So I said like, I want to keep it interesting here. Like, so, and suddenly in social media started too much negativity. And that really affected me a lot because you know what? We have an amazing team. And why fans are so negative, especially towards me, let's just wait, at least see. But we're winning. Like we literally 10 in a row games. Like,
I remember that.
It's pretty hard to do, by the way. And suddenly Steve Kerr calls me after the practice. So he starts with an ice-breaking question. He said, how you like California? Because first time in living here, right? So coming from Atlanta and then I went to Texas. So, I said, well, it's pretty cool. Weather is amazing. Like, so I'm enjoying it. My family is getting adopted. And he goes like, you think a lot. And, because like obviously we all scouted you throughout these years, right? So there's a reason why we want you here this year because you're a perfect fit. I love where you play and I love how you play, but you're thinking a lot. And then I opened up because there was an icebreaking question. That's your coach, so it was such a authentic conversation. I opened up. I said, well, coach, I don't understand why there are people that doubting us, right? I mean, we are a great team, and like, why are they so negative towards us? And he asked me, I said, well, who's your coach? I said, well, you are. All right, and who are the assistant coaches? I said, that's a weird question, like, I said, I'm 30 plus years old. I think I'm smart enough, like, at least to know, like, who the assistant coach is. I said, well, I see Mike Brown, and, I see Ron Adams and all these guys. And I said, what about the teammates? I said, you really messing with me right now, right? I said, well, I see the staff and shooting over there. KD is getting his package and Draymond is fighting against someone probably. I don't know, like Clay is just being goofy. And I said, these guys are my teammates. And he goes like, exactly, that's it. That's what matters. Because, nobody, you should not care what they say from outside. And that's not the most important thing. It's about us as a family, that we love you, we trust you, we're just glad that you're here, part of the team. And that's the most important thing. So when it comes to mentorship, without that, I'm telling you, I don't know how the season would go, at least for me, because there was so much going on my mind. Because like, you know what, even though we can talk about, you should ignore the outsiders, but they still noise is so strong or so powerful. Sometimes you need moments like that. Sometimes you need to have this kind of conversation. It only took 5 minutes, but you know what? Changed that year and probably changed the rest of my life, how I look at things, especially in this phone when you open one of the social media apps, right? So,
that's right.
And again, how you go, and there's a lot of, entrepreneurs here, you might be in the early stage and probably people don't know you as much. And you're trying to showcase, you're trying to introduce what you have built so far or idea you have, and you go into, copy, you're gonna raise a couple $1 million, and suddenly, Forbes writes the article, or, Techstar writes an article, and people start recognizing you, and the higher you go, there's more noise around you. And, I think we should remind ourselves, and stories like this always so helpful, where, it's about your team, how your employees, how your customers really appreciate what you have done. And that's what Naveen said, right? So AI, it's not only about AI replacing the human beings. It's about us human beings. How we team up with artificial intelligence and make this life more interesting and more efficient for the world.
Beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. And this is wonderful. And just to wrap up, I think all your messages here reinforce not only when you noticed the social media, just your presence on a great team elevated your profile, and then you were taught there's always going to be garbage and detractors outside, and you need to stay focused where you are. And I think what you pointed out, Naveen said, it's not AI that's going to solve everything. It's each one of us. It's you, it's me, it's your teammates, plus the technology. That's the winning formula. And with that, I understand now that we're here today, and there's so much money out here, investors, and you're healing, your words are healing. So I believe you're now going to be launching Zaza's Pachulia oil. Is that correct? Kind of a healing, but anybody ready to invest in that there? So, but this has been absolutely wonderful, Zaza. I think your presence has meant a lot to me personally and all of us here. How about a big hand for Zaza, NBA champion and our friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate having you here. Big hand for Zaza. Thank you so much for being here today.